Ever since I played Signalis, I promised myself I'd try more indie games. So let's talk about the They Are Here demo, a game that got my heart racing for the mere 15 minutes it took me to complete the demo. Spoilers ahead. Of all of the genres and subgenres of horror, I've always found home invasion to be one of the most terrifying. Films like Julian Maury and Alexandre Bustillo's Inside, Michael Haneke's Funny Games, and Brian Michael Bertino's The Strangers have always particularly bothered me. Home invasion films scare me in the same way Jaws scares people with a fear of open water. There's something about the sanctity of a home, the one place we're supposed to feel a modicum of safety in a scary world, that when violated feels extra unsettling. Alien abduction stories often fall into this genre, and I think that's what captivates audiences about them. I remember when my father brought me to see Fire in the Sky as a kid. I still have a hard time watching the last 20 minutes of that film. I talk a lot about horror games on this channel, but most don't really scare me. I've never once found Resident Evil to be scary. I think the franchise is unsettling and alarming, but ultimately fun. They've never once made me lose sleep. I'm generally not so bothered by gore and grotesque imagery. I'm more disturbed by the sense of intrusion. They Are Here sent chills down my spine several times. You know something bothers you when there's someone in the room next to you and you still feel that sensation of fear as if you are alone. The story starts off with some quick exposition about the Sherman family and some unusual activity on their farm. They Are Here seems to be leaning toward an investigative element. You play as journalist Taylor Fox, whom we don't know much of anything about. The slim narrative focuses on the missing Sherman family instead. After some searching around the Sherman property and snapping some Polaroids, things start getting weird. The demo hits all the typical beats of a classic alien invasion tale that pop culture has so familiarized us with. I'd seen some people play this demo already a few months back, so I actually knew what was coming to a degree. I had the lights off and my speakers loud though, so even though I knew to be on edge when those scares came, they still were terrifying. The game seems to rely on jump scares, but then settles into letting the mood and lighting do the rest. Jump scares are only effective for so long. They can't be repeated too often. To really make an audience feel uncomfortable, the jump scare should be built upon to keep the feeling of dread present. You might have just leapt out of your skin, but now the quiet keeps you on your toes as you navigate the Sherman house. Skin-crawling sound design does the rest of the job, and I really like the direction the designers took. In terms of the production design, there's not much new to see here. The aliens are archetypal, and so is the setting, but that doesn't mean they don't work. In fact, I think being in the first-person environment and feeling the sensation of being watched makes what appears to be a familiar experience fresh all over again. There's a feeling of surveillance that comes with the territory, both in genre and in this demo. I also really dug the 90s aesthetic. It reminds me of that time in my life when I was a kid and I would do research. Yes, I legitimately thought I was doing research on aliens at the library. Alien hype was big again at that time. I remember having the Alien Autopsy VHS tape, and movies like Independence Day were all the rage. The demo is short, but it really made me wonder if I'd be able to last a full 6 to 8 hour playthrough if it kept up. Not having a weapon only added to the tension, because I knew that if I was confronted by a malevolent force at any point, I would be able to do nothing but run. I think what makes the aliens in abduction stories so extra frightening is the sense of mystery that surrounds them. These aliens are like us, but not. Their communication is familiar, but mystical. Their technology understandable, but unable to be recreated. Though their appearance might not feel threatening, their presence is. I just wanted to talk about how much this game made my skin crawl. I tried to look up some information, and it looked like it was originally supposed to have an early 2022 release, but now seems slated for 2024. I hope this game gets finished because I'd love to see what a full narrative feels like. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up or comment, share it with your friends. I'll be back with more soon. Be nice to each other in the comments. Thanks for watching.